I've spent the last 3 years at OneNature developing Wild Happiness, a well-being approach to conservation. Now I'm honored that IFAW is partnering with us to pilot it in the field. I know that IFAW really cares about the well-being of the communities in which they work, and luckily we now have the survey tool and community process to assess community well-being and monitor changes in community thriving throughout the project. Last week, I went to Amboseli National Park in Kenya for phase 1 of the survey process. It was a wonderful time. I enjoyed my time with the communities and, of course, the incredible wildlife that they steward. And I learned a lot about implementing this well-being approach to conservation on the ground. On day 1, I met the IFAW team in Nairobi and spent most of day 1 on the road to Amboseli with them. On days 2 and 3, we did community outreach. We started day 2 with breakfast with the IFAW team and then a visit to one of the Maasai community zones. They talked about what mattered to them, their challenges, and what some of the things are that they would never want to change about their community culture. The next day, we met with several community leaders to get their input. The devastating drought is on the top of everyone's mind. The losses of cattle and goats that they've experienced have left them without the resources they need and nervous about becoming more resilient to climate change. We even had some adventures driving to meet one of the leaders, and we were stuck in the dirt on the side of the road for a while.
I was worried,
I wasn't worried. This happens all the time. On days 4 and 5, we trained the data collectors. Sometimes called enumerators, the data collectors came directly from the communities where we will be collecting the data. We spent time talking about well-being, why and how to measure it, and best practices for well-being data collection. On the second day, we worked through all of the questions in English, Swahili, and the Maasai language, Ma. On day 6, the final day in Amboseli National Park, I met with the IFAW team to go over next steps, to talk about adapting the survey questions, and then we headed back to Nairobi and home.
So I'm saying goodbye to this view.
Now we're moving to phase 2 to deploy the survey and analyze the data, and phase 3 to report the data back to the communities to get their feedback, and for IFAW and the communities to co-create interventions for people and wildlife to thrive together. I want to thank IFAW especially, an absolutely fantastic partner, for piloting this approach and the survey, the Maasai community members and leaders that we met with, the enumerators who will collect this important information about their communities, and of course the Happiness Alliance for partnering in creating the survey tool and well-being approach to conservation.